This video is being shot the day before Thanksgiving, but it's being uploaded on Thanksgiving. Whoopee! I'm not a really big holiday person. I think holidays kind of are stupid. And but obviously it's fitting for this movie, which is planes, trains, and automobiles. I saw this movie in the theater with my dad, and we both absolutely loved it. My dad, as well as I, both really loved John Candy. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna quick segue. It ain't gonna be as long as the last video, but I remember watching Splash probably in '85 or '86 on tape when I was a kid, and having this shitty feeling wash over me. It was inexplicable. I don't know why it came to my mind, but I was watching Splash in '85 or '86 or maybe even '87, and it was a part where, John Candy part where I haven't seen it in forever because come on, it's Splash, but I should probably actually see it, just for fun. But I think Tom Hanks was meeting him at a bar or something. I can't remember, but it was a small John Candy bit, and it occurred to me for some fucking reason when I was a kid watching this, someday John Candy's gonna be dead. I mean, there's an insight into my mentality and into my personality, but I mean, here I am like a little 10 or 11-year-old kid, or 9 or 10 or 11, and I'm watching this movie and I love this guy, and that comes to my mind. I don't know why, and I was really like, God, that really bummed me out, and I would have had no idea that he was going to be dead so soon after I thought that, a mere 5 or 6 years after that occurred to me. Oh man, I got to tell you, thinking about him, I really actually miss him. The thing about John Candy that was so great is I don't believe he really ever played like some kind of he was never like an idiot, or, I mean, if he was an idiot, he was a well-meaning idiot like Uncle Buck or whatever, but he was always he was one of those kind of people that who they are inside completely shone through whatever the hell he was playing, and who he was as himself would always take over whatever he was playing. He was this kind of person that is just magical to behold, And John Candy was, and I also was a huge, Steve Martin was like my favorite comedian, I think, at the time. I loved him, and I was freaking crazy about Roxanne, which I also saw in the theater. So this is the late 80s when I was Steve Martin crazy. I just thought, and I don't really watch anything he's in now, but I mean, when I watch the old stuff like The Jerk and Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid is so fucking great. I should review it someday. So this combo of John Candy and Steve Martin is absolutely phenomenal, with a little bit of, which is kind of cool at the very beginning, Kevin Bacon. So this is the heyday of John Hughes. Absolute genius. The music's a little, it's dated, isn't it? But that adds to the charm of it, and actually keeps it in its era when it came out. But yeah, like I say, me and my dad saw this in the theater and absolutely loved it. I'm probably gonna go 4 stars. I don't know if I would give it some of those, maybe a half of the star. Maybe it's a half star because of sentiment, but I mean, it's, you're biased when you see stuff as a kid, because this isn't this way for everything, but for a lot of movies I see, like when I saw them as a kid, that's how I'll see it for the rest of my life. And there's movies like Mannequin and Halloween 2 and stuff that I do not see the same way. Now when I watch them, I'm just like, oh my God, I used to think these movies were so great. So it doesn't happen for every single movie, but this is the case where I pretty much see it through the same eyes as I did when I was a kid. So I mean, this is just, I don't know if it's really any point to really even talk about any specific scenes, but one thing I will say is my dad's brother was very much like John Candy's character, where he was like a slob and kind of goofy and whatever. So what I'm getting at is, John Candy's character I identified him with someone who was actually somewhat in my life, or someone that I knew personally, so that was kind of interesting. And another thing my dad and I, when I was a kid, took a few road trips to Montana to visit his mom. So we'd actually spend nights in motels and stuff. So there was a couple aspects about this movie. My dad's uncle, who was like John Candy's character, and the road trip aspect, that as a kid seeing it for the first time, it meant more to me than it would to someone else, because of those aspects where I identify with those aspects. So I mean, it's just great, and it's one of those great. This is kind of, I think, towards the beginning, if not the very beginning, of when John Hughes is starting his like holiday themed comedies, which would, you know, end up being like Home Alone, obviously. And so I don't know if this was the first like holiday themed, you know, I can't even remember when it came out. You know, obviously it should have come out this time of year. I can't even remember if it did or not. But I'm not gonna really bother with talking about, well, okay, maybe I will. One of the great, there's so many great bits in here. The part where Steve Martin first recognizes John Candy's character, and they do that great shot of him actually in the airport, but they put the taxi cab door in front of him, and he had I mean, there's a lot of great comedy in this movie, and a lot of it's because of just John Candy's genius. And and the great scene in the motel room when it's like one bed, and it's like, you know, and then that pan over to John Candy, and he's like, it's just a lot of great comedy, and that's probably all I'm gonna bring up to the, but and of course having it end up the way it does with him just living on the road and stuff is sad. And usually movies like this, same with Zack and Miri Make a Porno and all these movies, were just goofball all the way through, and then towards the end they'll just like, you know, just, you know, sideswipe you, blindside you with emotional stuff. But you know, this one did it kind of early when Steve Martin you know, like spazzed out at him in the, and that was kind of early on. I think that was halfway through the movie or something. So this you know, didn't wait till the end to do that. But it's a great movie about just playing comedy, but also two completely opposites who end up bonding over, you know, just spending time together, and also, you know, the one guy's whatever, you know, feeling bad for the one guy's situation and stuff like that. And he kind of takes him under his wing and brings him to the Home Alone house at the end. So 4 stars for Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. Just some great, and I'm so glad this movie's rated R. This would totally be PG-13 right now. And that scene with Steve Martin, I'm going to kind of shy away from, I think, doing clips, just because I don't want to get caught just, you know, whatever by the, you know, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. I can't remember, but you left me in the, then I wanted to, I can't think of any of the lines. I want to fucking, with a fucking 4 wheels and a fucking trunk, and then I want to fucking, and you're walking around the fucking, and then, I don't know how many fuckings he said, but then, oh boy, what? You're fucked. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.
You want to take a shower?
No.
No, I meant if you want to go first or not. Oh, you thought I...
No, go ahead.
Oh, I would...
Go
What do you
ahead.
think I am?
Yeah, no.
God, no. Gee, that's funny. That's funny.